How's it going, everybody? Sleegi here with another interview on ESPN Esports. And today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Satthew, former professional player for Space Station Gaming and most recently the Susquehanna Soniqs. And first and foremost, Satthew, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, no, thanks for being here with me. And, just want to go ahead and jump straight into things here. And the first thing is, after playing in the professional scene for the last 4 years, I know it's only been a couple of days, but what is this feeling for you now that you have announced your retirement, knowing that there's no matches in the horizon, you're not having to train for that next one, like just sort of this time that you now have to yourself?
It's just a huge sense of relief, man. I mean, I'm just able to sit back and relax and just kind of enjoy just my own time for the first time in a couple years. Because I don't have to worry about that upcoming game or that tournament, and I'm just able to have some time to myself and my family and my friends around me.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially with how grueling the schedule of a professional player can be. Like, how often would you say over the past couple of years that you've been able to sort of have a vacation or any time to yourself in that sort of schedule?
Honestly, while I was playing in both leagues, the RLRS and RLCS, like every summer, when they'd have like after like a couple months of play, we'd have like a month break. But in that new format, it seems like the breaks are becoming less and less. So I definitely want to become more grueling.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the grind is getting turned up. I mean, not only does it feel like there's just a bigger concentration of games, but you get those 2 weeks and then you get a little bit off, but then in the midst of
Yeah,
that, it's the grid. It really is a lot.
yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, speaking of a lot as well, throughout your career, you've had the opportunity to be on a lot of different teams with a lot of different players. And one of the things I wanted to kind of know about that from you is playing with those different teams and those different groups of people. What sort of perspective do you feel like that gave you, getting to have that level of mixture of people that you were playing with?
I really think it just offered like kind of the opportunity to see how different people work in different environments. I think it really showed me like what my best environment is to work in, and I think I can take that into whatever my next part of life is.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine it gives you a lot of different insights, helps you sort of
Hmm.
maybe adapt better to different
Definitely,
personalities and play styles.
definitely.
And, of those teams, like, what would you say, maybe not your favorite, but which of those teams that you had the opportunity to play on did you think that you had the most fun with?
Ooh, that's actually a tough one. I definitely had fun with all my teams, obviously for different reasons, but I would say probably Bread and SSG, just because XB and I kind of came together and formed that team, and we had like the exact same goals in mind because neither of us had made RLCS, and we just were very, very much so on the same page. And so, it was like two guys who were exactly on the same page and ready to work together, and we got to look for a third for like a month and a half or 2 months, and we eventually found Sypical, and just like personality wise, goal wise, play style wise, everything clicked. So I'd say that was probably my best experience.
Yeah, I imagine especially the jubilation, building that team with AXB, you
Yeah,
have the same goal, and then you get picked up by Space Station Gaming. It's your chance to compete in RLCS. I like that's something that I think is the dream for not even current professional players, but also players, looking to try and get into the scene. And for you to be able to live that, I mean, that's truly just one of those experiences I think is just once in a lifetime, really.
yeah, no, definitely. That is in my mind, that is the ideal goal in Rocket League is to have an experience like that.
Yeah, and speaking of those experiences as well, you've been in a lot of different games over the past 4 years, the LAN environments as well, and
Mhm.
over all of those moments, all of those games, in your mind, what sticks out to you as the favorite moment that you've had in your career, like in those sorts of like settings, essentially?
I would say it's going back to the Bread SSG team again and just qualifying for RLCS when we beat Rogue. I think it was 4-2 or 4-1 in the promotion tournament right before season 7. I mean, it was just like I've never like experienced a moment like that in my life where it was just pure happiness and shock. Um, and I'd say that's my favorite moment for sure.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a memorable one as well. It's, and like you said, it's one of those moments where it's like one of those sports moments in a movie, really, where it's like you finally get over that biggest hurdle
Yeah.
and able to qualify. And again, I'm going to go back to essentially your tenure as a professional player. You've had a lot of experience. I'm sure your ups and downs. You figured out what works, what doesn't. And to those aspiring Rocket League professionals out there, what's a piece of advice that potentially you would give them that maybe you wish you had had when you were first getting into the professional side of things?
Um, I would probably say, you have to keep doing that individual work always. You have to be working on your mechanics all the time. You have to keep working on your ranks. You have to stay high ranked, especially like in the modern day where I feel like a lot of things that happen in ranked actually do reflect what goes on in the professional scene now. So I'd say really just surround yourself with people that you really like and have the same goals as you. So winning is easier and losing's easier as well, and you can get through both just fine. So make sure you have that good group around you that you can really work with.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really excellent piece of advice. I've noticed around my time talking with other players, especially people in the bubble scene, and
Hmm.
a lot of the times it can be that struggle with getting teammates that they gel with, like they feel like they're at that level, but the
Yeah,
teammates they're around are kind of not. And I think what you're saying there, making sure that you're with teammates that you first and foremost, I think really have fun with, but also just
hmm,
get along with and play well together with is one of the
right.
most important things. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a difficult task, but it's worthwhile to make sure you get all those criteria filled.
Yeah, I mean, everything comes with that effort, but now that that particular effort for you is behind you, you mentioned in your tweet longer when you announced your retirement that you wanted to look forward to the sort of long-term future that Rocket League is sort of this thing for now, but you want to make sure that you are set in the long term. What does that look like for you? What is next for you?
Yeah, so I have about like a year left in my studies at University of North Carolina, and I'm getting my statistics degree. So there's the potential to actually return to esports if I'm not coaching or doing anything like that right now. I plan to get that degree and maybe come back and see. I think esports is still obviously in its infancy. I think it's got huge potential. I think Rocket League itself has amazing potential, um, just to reach a bigger audience. And I think there's also a lot of issues that reside in the scene behind the scenes, and just in esports in general. Like everyone knows it. It's it's in its state of just getting better and improving. And I think I could come back and maybe help something along those lines.
Yeah, and I seeing the reaction to your announcement of retirement as well. I think that's something that
Mhm.
the scene itself would see. Obviously, a beloved member, especially because of how I mean, how long that you've been in the scene. It's always, in one way, sad to see someone like yourself retire because you've been in the scene for so long. But you know, when I see something like that, it also is that sort of opportunity for things in the future. And if you're able to, once you finish that statistics degree, come back and make an impact in a second way, I think that really is just more of a continuation of your legacy than anything.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, no, that it's definitely a huge possibility, and I'm looking forward to see what happens when I'm done with that degree.
Yeah. But again, thank you for sitting down with me today. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with you, no matter which way you end up going. Obviously, your career in Rocket League will always be sort of set in stone. You'll always have those memories to look on, but more memories as well in the future. Thank you so much again for sitting down with me today. And I just want to say congratulations again on your retirement. I hope you enjoyed this, I guess, less hectic time that you'll have now, though I imagine college is still its own brand of hecticness.
Yeah, it definitely is. But thank you again so much for having me. I always appreciate being able to speak openly about this stuff.
Yeah, no problem at all. And for everyone watching as well, if there's someone else that you would like us to interview, whether it be a former player, current player, coach, manager, whatever it may be, let us know. We want to make sure that we're talking with the people that you want to listen to. But for this interview, that is going to do it. Until the next time, everybody, have a good one.